There was always this draw to the beauty. There was a fixation right from the start, even from the early days of elementary school. Every recess was about the girls. As I got into my high school years, the draw became this constant push and need to find my validation in women. And so I put a lot of my energy there, and I was lost. What am I missing that I don't see?
God has created man in the image of his strength, in the image of coming through, for adventure, for this phenomenal world that he gives us. But then he says something really interesting. The Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." And that word helper, it's so weak, you guys. It's actually ezer kenegdo in Hebrew, and it's like phenomenal. Like it literally means lifesaver, like phenomenal companion, phenomenal ally, your best chance, okay, at making it through together, right? The idea is together. And then he does a fascinating thing. Then before he does that, he has Adam name all the animals. And this is actually a really funny scene. Because animals in a barnyard, right, they start doing what animals do. And so Adam's naming sheep, goat, sort of thing, but he's got barnyard activity going on around him, right? And he has the equipment, but he doesn't have the companion. It's almost like God raises the ache there, and then he says this, "But no suitable companion was found for Adam. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs, closed the place with flesh, and he fashions the woman from one of the ribs he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man." Now get this moment. Adam wakes up, right, from this deep sleep, and for the first time ever in the history of the universe, standing before him is a naked goddess. Poor guy starts writing poetry, right? He breaks out a Valentine's card, the little passage there of bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He goes Romeo and Juliet here. It's a fabulous scene. And none of us have really recovered from that surgery. We are haunted by Eve. I mean, she is captivating. She is a mystery, and she is beauty. And she is a huge challenge to our masculinity. And have you noticed, like, if they want to sell you anything, like the marketing world has figured this out about guys, like they want to sell you razor blades or a new car or auto insurance or cheese, they just slap the beauty on it, right? The siren, the seductress, because it's like, whoa! As Blake said, the naked woman's body is too much of eternity for the eye of man to behold. I mean, come on. Try and do a Bible study while you're at a women's beach volleyball tournament. I mean, Eve is captivating, right? It works. She gets our attention. Now, I understand that some of you watching this are like, not so much for me. I don't really feel that pull. And what I want to remind us is that we're all on a journey of the recovery and healing of the original design in us, the Imago Dei. And every man has a story, and every man has his own wounding, and every man has things that need restoration in us. And I think you'll find that as we go back and deal with relationship with mom, relationship with dad, relationship with girls, with boys, as we simply invite the presence of Jesus into that, he helps us sort out our story.
This was our dating.
So she was a scrapbooker, but this was kind of our first date, where I took her up the third Flatiron in Boulder. We climbed 6 pitches.
I was cool.
She was cool. Mel and I met when we were in college, and was kind of a whirlwind romance, and all of my energy, all of my intention was kind of set on winning her heart.
Notes and flowers and planned stuff. He even put me on a scavenger hunt for Valentine's Day.
Cards and flowers and elaborate dates, and it worked. We kind of moved things along quickly and knew each other for about 6 months, and I asked her to marry me. We ended up getting married about 5 months later.
We were 20. We had gotten married in between our sophomore and junior year of college. Okay, honeymoon's over. We got to just do real life, and what does that look like? And so it was rough for a year or two there.
We worked 3/4 time, went to school full time, and tried to stay married.
It was rough.
Here I am, newly married. It worked. I won her heart. I was like, what did I just do? I felt like such a boy, and I had no idea how to love this woman. What I was looking for was for her to say, you're a real man. When Mel wouldn't offer that validation to me and we were at heads, it was like, if I'm not getting it here, then I can get it out there through my climbing, through my outdoor adventures. And I felt like a competent man, where in the early marriage, I just didn't feel competent. That didn't go well in those first couple of years. And the more I would escape to the mountains, the more Mel would just get so angry, and she wanted my engagement. She wanted my attention, and the way she would get it was to provoke me. And so we had a pretty tumultuous couple of first years of marriage.
The continual search for love and validation is always the core issue. Wherever we are, whoever we are, however old we are, like those are always the driving forces. I mean, look at the Viagra commercials, okay? They very rarely show the woman, right? It's the guy who can handle a team of horses. It's the guy who can sail the boat, across the open ocean. It's the guy who's setting up camp at night. It is the competent man, right? It's the stud. It's the dude. It's the guy who can handle his world. They aren't selling sex. They're selling validation. It's just that it, feels really wired to our sexuality. And then when you get a story where there's a lot of wounding and some misbehavior and some things in most of our stories, man, that stuff just strikes deep down to the core. And it can feel really messy. But I love this passage from Jesus. He says, the Son of Man came to seek and to save what was lost. Okay? All that was lost. All that was lost in you, all that was lost in me. Even here, even down in the issues of broken hearts and romance and beauty and is it too late? All of that, right? Our sexual brokenness, the power and the allure of these things. Yep, even right here. He doesn't leave this out of his redemptive work, and I am super grateful for that. Stacy and I both came into our marriage with a really mixed sexual story and previous relationships and previous intimacies and a lot of wounding, childhood wounding, and a lot of brokenness there. And I thought we were great because we were young and we were in love and we were brand new followers of Jesus. And I'm like, this is it, we're good. And that carried us for about a year and a half. And then the issues start showing up, and her brokenness and mine. And the messiness is I was looking to her for validation. I wanted her to make me feel like the hero. And she starts struggling with depression and some addiction issues. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? And it just, suddenly I'm the boy again. and the Son of Man came to seek and save what was lost. In order for us to move ahead, both of us had to deal with our past. We had to deal with our story and with the deep things in us that were needing restoration. Learning to love a woman, learning to fight for her heart, it is so much more helpful. This is going to go a whole lot better for you if you will begin to deal with the poser, right? Because the more you're faking it, it's not going to go well. Or controlling, or dominating, or hiding and withdrawing, all that Adam failure stuff. Like, the more we deal with the poser, and the more we deal with our own need for love and validation and bring that to our loving Father, the more that we're in a better place to move toward a woman. You see, because a man does not go to a woman to get his strength. He goes to a woman to offer his strength. We go there to fight for her. Remember that story in Genesis 3? Adam is right by Eve, the moment, right? He was there to fight for her heart. So, some things about Eve that would be really helpful to know. All right. First off, she has a heart. Okay? She also bears the image of God in her heart, but it is a feminine heart. And her core desires are a little bit different than yours. She has a heart that longs to be treasured. The little girl longs to be delighted in. You know, when they put on the twirling skirts, or even when they, get a new bike and they want to show off on it, what they're asking is, Daddy, do you delight in me? And how her father handled her heart is probably the most important thing you can know about her life. She has a heart, and her heart is wounded. I guarantee it. May have been through dad, may have been a first boyfriend, a coach, who knows, a teacher, an uncle. Her heart gets wounded also. You need to know this as you're moving into these waters. And, just like you, she has agreements, deep-seated agreements about her value and her beauty and her place in the world. Will anyone fight for me? You see, a man's worst fear is failure, because we're made in the image of the strength of God to come through, right? The warrior, the adventurer, the lover. Okay, so our worst fear is failure, but a woman's worst fear is abandonment. And so many guys, not knowing this, not knowing there's a heart in there, and there's heartache in there, and there's wounding and agreements, and she has an enemy too, they walk into that minefield and they just start triggering things, right? You've said things to the woman in your life, right? Your wife, or maybe it was a sister or a friend, and you get this huge reaction where you just trip the booby trap wire, right? You found her wounds and her agreements and the things that are part of her story. So one of the most important things you can know about the woman that you are in love with, or committed to, or married to, the woman whose heart you are fighting for, you need to know her story. You need to know the journey of her heart through this war-torn world. Learning to fight for the heart of a woman is one of the most beautiful, risky, courageous endeavors you will ever undertake.
Kids came along. And so now I've got this little girl in my life.
There she goes. Here she goes.
How do I love a daughter? How do I tend her heart?
Here's Daddy. Just like my daddy.
Yep.
There was a real key moment where, as I was walking along with God in this journey, I felt God's invitation to ask that question: what am I missing? What am I not seeing here? And He prompted me to ask you, Morgan, and you were honest. Thank you. Man, you're really in danger of missing your wife and your kids.
See? This one looks like Mommy.
Hi.
And it kind of left me in this place where the only thing I could do was say, God, I need you. Show me how to love my wife. Show me how to love this little girl that you put in my life. And here was the rescue. God said, delight in what they delight in. And it came at such a pivotal moment. Zoe had stumbled into this world of Irish dance. She loved it. Like from day one, like you should have seen just the delight on this little girl's face. What I didn't know is you have to buy what's called a solo dress. And it's basically the cost of a wedding dress. And I was this close to pulling the plug because the classes were getting expensive. I was looking at this dress that was going to cost me all kinds of money, and I'm like, it's crazy, you know, why would I do that? And God caught me and reminded me, delight in what she delights in. There would have been so much, I think, lost for Mel had that story not been able to unfold, and it's really deepened their relationship.
It's a beautiful story. It takes courage to love. It takes sacrifice. It takes choosing. I'm in. This is where I'm going to fight. I'm here for your heart. And by the way, it takes resilience. I remember one of my young adult sons, as they were getting into love and romance, he says, man, the thing about Eve is she doesn't stay rescued, right? It's over and over and over again. But see, as you're doing this, the courage, the bravery, the humility, the tenderness, the gentleness, and the perseverance, right? The steadfastness, this is shaping such huge things in us, such good work in our masculine soul. This is what we're about, guys. This is what we are wired for. And the rewards are so worth it.
Irish dance, it's a competitive sport. They go up in rank as they do competitions, and they go up in levels. She went on, and we've bought probably 6 dresses now.
There, look at your hand.
This past regionals, I got second, which was the best I've ever done.
So you're looking at number 2 in the Western United States. Number 1 in Colorado, though.
Yeah. My world's qualifier sashes. And these are all local. This one's from that. This is my 4th place from regionals. These are world medals. My team got 13th.
Where was the world championship that you danced at?
Dublin.
California to Colorado and everything in between, like that whole region. She's number 2. And she's qualified for the world championships the last 4 years in a row. I could almost weep to think about what I almost stole from her, just out of my selfishness, out of my fear. To see like the beauty of the confidence it's built in her. I love it now. I love it. I love watching her.
It's pretty girly and like makeup, hair, you know. It's cool that you try to get into it for me.
Of course. In those early years, the ice climbing, the rock climbing, the mountaineering, the skiing, all of that. It provided a temporary validation, I think, in my heart. As my heart has grown and as God has shifted it toward the family, those things don't matter to me anymore. My validation isn't set there anymore. As I've chosen to engage with Zoe and Mel in the family, I found something so much better. I have their hearts.